Welcome back to a brand new episode of Private Parts with me, Liv Bentley. This is the podcast where nothing is off limits. And this week, we have a guest that I have got thousands of questions for. Please welcome the wonderful Liberty Mills. Woo! Fertility coach, expert. I was about to say novelist. Is that what you call them?
Author.
Yeah, God, sorry. You'll have to bear with me today. I'm feeling a bit fruity, to be honest with you. I've had the sweats all morning. Right, let's start from the beginning. You got into fertility when? How did this whole journey start?
Well, my youngest is 6, so on my own journey, 7.5, 8 years ago?
And you got into it because did you have fertility
issues,
struggles?
Yes.
So what happened? Where did you start?
I was what they call a geriatric mum.
Okay, let's just...
Old Lady Mildred.
Can we understand what geriatric really means? Because I think I'm classed as geriatric.
How old are you?
31.
No, not yet. You've got 4 more years.
So 35 is geriatric.
Yeah.
I think that's fucking outrageous. When we've all paid fortunes for our faces and now we're called geriatric. But I'm not being funny, but I actually thought it was over 40. Has it always
over
been
35. Always over 35.
Really?
Yeah.
So, okay, so you were called geriatric and then...
So I went on the journey. Actually, and I spoke about this before, the GP actually took her glasses off and looked at me and said, "You do know how old you are, don't you?" And she said, "You were born in 1974. And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, that makes you 43. And I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, it's not really going to happen." And she said, "I'll let you have the tests on the NHS, but..." Slipped me a little note of an IVF clinic that did egg donor.
Bloody hell. Is that normal? Is that...
I guess it, because, well, clinically, statistics say after the age of 35, your egg reserve drops off for a cliff. So I get that. But unless you test, you don't know. So tell me that after you've had a look.
Yeah, because I don't know if you should say that to people. I'm going to be honest. I have had a lot of people say to me recently, I should be getting my eggs frozen. And I actually borderline find it offensive. They don't even know if I want kids or not. But it's a very odd... it's a touchy topic, of course, but it's so... I feel like at the moment, I don't know what's happened. It's all everyone can speak about is fertility. You go onto Instagram and everything you see is everyone saying, I don't know if my phone's been listening to weird conversations, telling me every 5 minutes, go and get tested. But I went to a doctor and he said to me, he said, only bother checking your fertility when you're ready to have kids.
No, you check before because by then it might be too late and then you don't have the choice to freeze your eggs or you might have to go have some operations. You don't know what you have to do and then that might delay you 1 year, 2 years.
Yeah.
And then your body's older, everything else is older. So I would check earlier if you have those finances.
To be able to do it. What does it actually cost to get a fertility check?
Oh, fertility check, it can be, you could go to the NHS and get a lot free.
Yeah.
There is the Poppy study at the moment that is free, that's not well advertised. It's by the NHS for women age 18 to 43 who were trying for their first child and not through IVF. And they will do a lot of borderline blood tests and monitoring. So that's free. And they'll take you all the way to postpartum if, you are blessed and have a child. And that will be monitored all the way through. Okay. That's free. Depends which clinic you go to. Egg freezing is about $1,500. If you go to Prague, it's half the price. But it depends how long you want to freeze them for.
Yeah. Bloody hell. So I've only just registered that this is all stuff I'm going to have to start thinking about. So with your journey, so then what happened? You then...
I popped off, went to the said IVF clinic, and their exact words were, "You have one ovary that is barren."
Fucking hell.
Barren. Do you understand what that word means?
No, I know it's a horrific thing to say.
No, that's what they said to me. Because I just sort of sat there like that.
It's a lot, isn't it? I don't know if people should... The bedside manner seems to have gone down the fucking shitter. By the way, my language is appalling. So please forgive me because I'll probably say cunt in a minute as well. But that's shocking.
It is terrible. It is terrible, the language around it. And it really does need to change.
Yeah.
I had 4 viable follicles in my left ovary and I was told it wouldn't happen. They couldn't take my money for normal IVF. I'd have to have egg donor.
And so, sorry, prior to this, how many years had you been trying for a baby?
Only been trying like 9 months, something like that, 8-9 months.
And it just
wasn't happening
at all.
And I knew I was 43 and the time was ticking out.
Yeah. But I see, it's so, with age on this, is any of it related remotely to genetics?
I think there's so many, my book could have been a Bible, like, there's so many contributing factors. So you've got genetics, you've got to think that your eggs were in your mummy's tummy when she was pregnant, and those stress factors, was she stressed at work? Was she in an uncomfortable marriage? Did she have to have antibiotics? All of these things affect your eggs as well. And we have to think about that. We also have to think, yes, the number of years that you have been on the planet, you have consumed more alcohol, cigarettes, stress, microplastics, been exposed to more herbicides, pesticides, all of those things. Like, digressing, farmers that have to deal with those sort of chemicals have typically 50% less of a good sperm profile than someone that doesn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think recently or in the last few years there's been a rise in people with fertility issues because of what we're all subjected to?
Well, yeah, the studies show that male fertility is just going like that. And people such as Shauna Swan predict that by 2045, so it's only 20 years away, so my youngest daughter's reproductive time, that the majority of couples within in industrialized countries may have to have IVF just because of that, because of the way that the male fertility is going down. Like my clients, I'd say 90% it's a male contributing factor with sperm morphology of like 1%, 2%, low sperm count. And the outside, these guys look really healthy.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you this. I read something the other day and it said there's something in some sort of protein, not whey protein, but there's something that is it creatine? We might have to Google this quickly, but I read an article and it said there's something that men are taking which is really affecting fertility.
And also the stresses as well. You know, you've got to think the stresses, a lot of people there's a big debate on it, intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
If you're only having a certain amount of foods, if you're only eating 2 meals, how are you going to get all of those nutrients as well?
Yeah, because I have spoken to people as well who have who have struggled to get pregnant, gone to see nutritionalists, and they said, well, you've not got things like enough red meat in your diet, and then completely changed the diet, and then it has happened.
Yeah, that's another thing I changed. So I was pescatarian, and I'd started eating chicken and had bone broth.
Really? This fucking bone broth. Let me tell you, I've tried it in the morning instead of a coffee with a ciggy and it just doesn't go down well.
Put a little bit of cinnamon in it.
Oh, does that actually help?
Yeah, it's nice.
Because it's a lot. So then you went to the IVF clinic.
Yeah.
And then that's how you had your first? How long did that take?
No, they wouldn't take my money.
Okay, so...
They wouldn't take my money, so I did it naturally. So I had my baby 2 weeks before I turned 45 and I conceived naturally. And I have client ladies... So last year, who had a baby? Let me think. 41, 42, 43, all natural. The oldest I've had natural conception is, I think, 43. IVF, not with her own eggs though, 52. And IVF with own eggs, was she 46? About 46, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
God, that's pretty amazing, actually. Do you feel like now, because I can't work it out, I don't know if there was, maybe I'm just different, but I feel like there was a time when people were having babies a lot younger, whereas I think now, in my personal opinion, I want to work for a lot longer. Not a lot longer, because I know you can do both, but my priority right now in life is work, not babies. Do you think a lot more women are more career focused than family focused?
I don't necessarily even think of it like that. I think, in London, I lived in London for 22 years. It's harder to get your own place. I've had friends that were in their 30s still living in a shared house. You're not going to be having a baby if you live in a shared house, are you? So it's like, when do you get to that level where you're like, okay, I've got everything settled. Now I'm going to look. And then by then, you know, you might need to explore.
God, so do you think I should go and get mine checked?
I think you should go and get it checked. But also, it's not just about the number of eggs, it's about the quality of eggs. And then it's about the host body, because those eggs, once they get fertilized, have got to go back into the host body. And then that might need a bit of
maintenance.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, the only negative thing about me right now is that I do chuff back a Marlboro. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I work out. I'm healthy.
a lot of chemicals in those.
I know. And I keep thinking I'll quit when I get pregnant, but at this point,
No,
I might
no,
not get
no,
pregnant,
yeah.
so I'll never quit.
Exactly. So think, would I give this to my child? Would I give, whatever
a cigarette?
Yeah,
Probably
exactly.
not.
Exactly, right? But you are.
Yeah, that is.
But
Yeah,
you
that's
are,
true.
because whatever you put in is you're giving it to them. That is the blueprint of their DNA.
Yeah.
And also of their fertility going on later in life. I know there's a study on, but it's on paternal. I don't know about maternal, but on paternal smokers, that it affects the children's, you know, they're more likely to have asthma later on in life. And that's just from the sperm.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot to work out, isn't there? I've just realised my sweet mother took up smoking during her pregnancy with me. That explains a lot. I was going to ask
My
something.
mum too.
Did she?
My mum was partying when she was pregnant with me, and someone said to her, and my mummy won't mind because, you know, she doesn't mind that I tell these stories, that someone said to her, well, when's the baby due? She said, oh, what's the date? And she was like, oh, yeah, today.
But
That might be why I, you know, developed lupus.
But this is another thing I was going to say, is because I feel like there was another article about how a lot more kids now are being diagnosed with things like ADHD, autism. But is it because that's more of a sort of like thing that people recognise? Whereas before, I feel like mothers weren't necessarily as nitpicky about their diets and what they're doing. But is that...
I think it's twofold. So I think, yes, people are recognising these things, and we're testing more, looking into things. But also, we are expert, you know, drinking alcohol is much, you know, some people drink half a bottle to a bottle of wine every night. We're all, you know, the whole coffee culture, we're all drinking our coffees. You've got a lovely plastic bottle over there that you've got your drink
It's full
in.
of electrolytes.
Doesn't matter
But
though,
it
but
isn't
yeah,
heavy.
you're sucking on plastic. They find microplastics in follicular fluid. Right?
Yeah.
And that's not going to be helpful. And that was only in May, I think it was a Rome University study. Correct me if I'm wrong, I know it was an Italian place. That was only May of this year. They found it in sperm fluid. But, you know, you don't want that in there, because that build up, yes, one little plastic bottle's not going to hurt. But then you have your coffee that, even if it's in a paper cup, is lined with plastic. Otherwise, the hot water's going to melt it out, right?
Yeah.
So you build all of that up. And at one point, the body's like, oof, I don't really like this.
But what are we sort of meant to do, though? Like,
Yeah, not have a heart attack, not stress. Because that's, you know, you can't do everything.
Yeah.
You can't do everything. So swap your plastic bottle
for a bloody Stanley one or whatever those.
Yeah, a glass one or a stainless steel one.
Yeah.
Take a coffee cup around with you when you can. Or if you are drinking it, take the lid off. Or what I do is, if I'm out and about, I've come to London and I've forgotten my coffee cup, I've got a metal straw in my bag. So I know, yes, it's still going into plastic, but I'm not sucking on the plastic that's melted. You know,
You're making me really question a lot of my choices now. It's, interesting.
because I was talking to a geneticist the other day, and she was saying, yeah, it really does matter, because it's also affecting how those genes are expressed within the body. It's like turning a tap on or off as well. So, and we can reverse many things in our body by lowering our toxic burden. You can't get rid of everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, my mascara is toxic, but everything else in my face is less toxic.
Yeah. What do you think? What's the most common issue that women seem to have with infertility when they're coming to you? Like, what is the main thing that you notice? Is there anything in particular, like women who overly do certain things?
I would say stress, because when you're on a fertility journey, it's massive. Stress. A lot of them are constipated.
Really?
So they're not pooing every day. So many women don't poo every day.
Is that because we tend to hold the stress in our stomachs?
I think so.
God,
We
it's
hold
interesting,
things,
isn't it?
and then you're not detoxifying properly, are you?
Yeah.
You're not eliminating these microplastics, the glyphosate on your carrots. You're not eliminating it properly because you're not pooing every day. I know it sounds really basic, but we're not.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Something so small as that. What do you recommend? But it's so hard, isn't it? Because when someone says, "Oh, don't stress," other than taking some sort of Xanax, how do you not stress? And I'm sure the backlash of that is probably constipation.
Yeah. So find out what your stress factors are. You know, like I was stressed coming here because the trains got cancelled and I always like to be early. That's what I was taught. You have to be early.
Yeah.
That's been 15 minutes early is on time. So I did a little meditation in the Uber because that's going to help me lower my stress, because if you're highly stressed, you're going to be depleting things like magnesium.
Yeah.
So it's how do you respond to that stress rather than react, and then how do you replace the things that you have lost because of that stress? Because we can't take away the stress.
No, and I think I've never said that before. I think sadly, everyone generally, the stress level amongst us all seems to be a lot greater than it used to be.
100%.
Just daily life is stressful in itself.
Well, there's social media, your phone. If you email someone will send you an email at 10 o'clock at night. You feel like you have to respond if your phone's on. You know, this is why I've got a watch, a real life watch, right?
Yeah.
When I got a real life watch, my screen time went down 70%.
Really?
Yeah, because I check my phone to check the time. I'm like, oh, someone's text me. Oh, someone's WhatsApp me. Oh, let me just check my emails. Oh, while I'm here, I'll just check if anyone's messaged me on Instagram. And then you're on it for 20 minutes.
Yeah. No,
But
I know.
if you get a watch,
You don't do it.
you don't have to go on it, do you?
Yeah. It is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, so cheap little hacks.
So how did you go from your own experience to then being like a fertility coach?
I was studying an integrative nutrition certification, and I was actually going to go into autoimmune because of my history of lupus and reversing all of that. But when I went through my fertility journey and seeing the stigma from friends,
Yeah.
why are you stressing out? It's different for you. You already have a child, because I had a 19-year-old at the time, you know, my fertility journey wasn't worthy enough because I already had a child. Society assuming, even doctors just going, oh, well done. How many rounds of IVF did you have to get your baby? I'm like, I didn't. So even that prejudice from the doctors, I just thought, well, if I've helped myself, and the stigma my partner had to go through, he felt that he couldn't talk to anybody about it. He even was put on antidepressants when we were told we couldn't have a child.
Really?
Because it affected him that much.
And I suppose it's not really a conversation the lads have with each other.
It
is it? You
isn't.
don't.
We'll say, oh, I missed a period, or I've got a really heavy period, or I was staying at my friend's this morning, she was like there with a hot water bottle and just talking about her fibroids. Guys aren't going to go, oh, I've got low motility.
Yeah. And is that more of a recent thing, or has that always been a thing?
I don't know, because they've not been studying the male fertility, have they? So
No. Okay.
as much.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. It was a heart thing. I thought if I can help people on this, that's what I want to do. So I went into general health coaching, and then I helped a couple of people, and they conceived naturally. And then, you know, they told their cousin or their mum, not their mum, their friend, and then I got their friend pregnant. Well, not I didn't, but you know, they did by working with me.
So when
I'm
you
not
say
that good.
you help them, you sort of talk them through how to like alleviate stresses in their lives, or what they could be doing
I
differently.
work with clients. It's usually like a 12-week program, but they have an hour's Zoom a week, but in between that, it's like a daily thing. I get them to send me their food. I'm like, no, stick a bit of extra cucumber on that. Or they're like, I had a row with my boss, or we're not having sex. It's putting so much pressure on our sex life. I don't like my body. And I'll guide them through all of that.
Yeah.
Through natural fertility and IVF, or I might even coach them into being open to IVF because some people aren't.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I was just suddenly thinking, God, how sex. I mean, I had friends recently. I always have friends recently because everyone in my sort of group seems to be getting knocked up. But they were saying the pressure of suddenly getting the thing saying that they're whatever ovulating,
Yeah,
but then
the
suddenly
blue
the pressure
window.
to go
Oh,
and
you've got to
have
do it
sex
now.
kind of takes the whole like the romance out of it, and it becomes so much more of a sort
And
of like
also
act.
your sperm then is not as good a quality because you're stressed.
Yeah.
So there's a recent, this was done within IVF to see how to get the best quality sperm, and a peer review study was presented only this year, so it's new science.
Yeah.
The secondary ejaculation is better than the first one. So they were getting guys to drop off one sperm sample, and then within an hour to 3 hours later,
Back in again.
Yeah, another sperm sample, and it was better motility. So the way it goes up, and it was better, less DNA fragmentation, and
This is
better
fascinating,
concentration.
sorry.
And no, it's absolutely fascinating. So even at home, you could
Bang one out in the bathroom in the morning.
Exactly.
Then get your wife in.
Yeah, or
use a bit of Jomo. And then, actually, we should talk about that as well.
you could, and then 2 to 3, that's going to take the stress out of it. It's going to make it more fun. Like, okay, let's, ejaculate first in any word of, do whatever you want with the sperm and then go back in again.
Yeah.
That's going to make it more fun as well. In clinical studies, it was better than using IUI.
What is IUI?
So it's like when they when they put it directly in, but it's natural. It's not in a lab, right?
The
so
sperm?
So it's better than that.
Yeah.
And like I say, it was 53, I'll give you the exact numbers. It was 53 point something % less DNA fragmentation and more live births as well, and less birth defects. I'll send it you.
Yeah,
because it blew my mind.
It's so interesting. On birth defects, what is the sort of percentage of women who hit a certain age of the likelihood of them having a baby with a defect?
So with Down syndrome and things like that, it does go up. But within IVF, for example, you can get your embryos tested.
Yeah.
So and I think also you can get your genetics tested before you even start to see if you and your chap are compatible.
What is the process of IVF?
It depends on the person. So there's many different protocols. I've even had clients go through different protocols anyway. So there's natural, which is a short stimulation, or you might just be want to have in egg freezing. You've got your ICSI. You've got even clinics now that use AI to choose the sperm.
That
as well.
But hang on, what do you mean? They see a bunch of swimmers and think you're the chap?
Yeah, exactly. I've been into their labs. It was absolutely fascinating.
Nuts.
They'll have an embryologist there as well, but AI helping them. And even for gentlemen, when they find no sperm when they go into the testicles, because some people when they give the sample, there's none in, so they actually have to go in. Then they're finding with AI that they can find better sperm to use in ICSI with that.
And what's
as
ICSI,
well.
sorry?
It's when they artificially inseminate it in like a little dish, and they choose it and they go, "You're the best one. We'll pop you in here." Which is brilliant for some people.
Yeah, no, it is
really
amazing.
is. It gives some people that there may never have been a chance.
So you've got 3 kids?
No, I've got 2.
2.
And 2 grandkids.
Sorry, wait, how old are
I'm
you?
a grandma.
How old are
That's
you?
what I'm called. I'm 51.
And you're a grandmother?
Yeah.
Oh
I'm
my
northern.
God.
We do it early up north.
That's unbelievable.
So normal up north.
I'm going to be older than you by the time I try and have my first. Oh no, that's okay. So I thought, I want to know, the impact of contraception pills and all of that jazz on fertility.
Okay, I am not an obstetrician, I'm not a gynecologist, but I work a lot with them.
Yeah.
And also there's a lot of common sense here as well.
Yeah.
You've got to think. So a lot of people don't even take contraceptive for the contraceptive.
So I don't, to be
Yeah.
honest. I've had a nightmare with it. I got alopecia when I was 16 from it. I then had that implant thing, had a period for 3 months, and I was just like, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah. But some people, I can say some people are taking it to control
Their periods.
their period. Why would you want to control some? I understand. I've been there. I used to bleed I was like 28, 3 weeks out of the 4.
You're joking.
No, it was awful.
But why do you think that is, though? Did you ever speak to them?
They were just like, oh, go on this pill, this pill, this pill. None of them were working. Oh, put in the Mirena coil, it'll just stop them. But I was like, why am I bleeding?
Yeah.
Please tell me, I need to find out why. I actually had an autoimmune disease. And no one bothered
Picked
to
up on that.
link the things together. So if you are having, and I know it's very difficult and many GPs will not listen to you, but you know, there's lots of people like even Vicky Patterson campaigning in Parliament for us to be listened to. If you're not being listened to and you're just being thrown different pills, you can complain, you can ask for another doctor to see you, you can write an email and to the practice manager and saying, this is not to be controlled, this is not to be managed. I need to know why this is happening.
But this baffles me because if you're a doctor, surely the reason you went into it is because you want to help people. So why would you do something that's almost unhelpful? Because I had something similar. I get the most horrific periods, and they said it's not endometriosis, and I don't know if over the years they have got worse. I've convinced myself it's from that fucking COVID vaccine.
Or they'll say have a child and that will sort it out. That's many people. Or I've had clients where they've said, oh, you've already got a child. This is no word of a lie what I'm about to say, and it's horrific. If it's that bad, you can just have a hysterectomy. Now, if that was a man and he had, I don't know,
you would
issues,
never suggest
they
that.
wouldn't say, oh, cut off your balls, would they?
No, of course they wouldn't.
As a way of helping him out.
Yeah. It is sort of mental that this sort of hasn't really changed, but that the options seem limited when it comes from like a GP. But if one does have quite bad periods, because is that normal or is it not normal? Because there's such mixed bag. I look on Instagram and some people say if you do have heavy periods or they are very painful, that isn't normal and you should do something about it. Other people say, oh, we're all different, and some people do just suffer with bad periods.
But do you just suffer with something? We're not meant to be here to suffering.
No.
You know, it's often an indication of something is not working in your body properly. So explore it. Get basic bloods. I've had clients where their vitamin D is in the teens.
Yeah.
You know, and it's meant to be anywhere between 75 to, different countries have different parameters, but World Medical Association says 75 to 150. Now, if your vitamin D is in the teens, your body's not going to be working properly because that affects your thyroid, and your thyroid affects your ovaries. You know, do you have a thyroid disorder?
Yeah.
Many people don't even get that checked.
God, we almost all need, we've got your book, but we all need like a list of things that one should actually
There's a
do.
list in there to get what to get tested, yeah.
But back to the contraception thing, in your opinion, does it have an impact on being able to get pregnant?
I think if you've got those problems to start with, if you take the contraceptive pill, it's only like putting your hand over a leaking pipe. Once you take that hand off, you still got to deal with the problem in the next 10 years or whenever you decide to have a child. Anyway, and then your body's got to learn how to use its hormones properly.
Yeah. God, it is a lot. No, because I know that's a common issue that a lot of people have. Because then also the other thing is the effect that the morning after pill has.
Yeah, and then you have to wait as well a period of time
Before
to flush it out, to then start and for your periods to regulate, all of those things. But I understand for some people, it's the only way that they can stop their pain. I get that.
Yeah.
But there's a great book out there by Dr. Jolene Brighton called Beyond the Pill.
Okay.
I highly recommend it to anyone that's suffering from a regular. I've bought it for friends' daughters that are having bad periods. Start understanding your body.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm working on changing something. I have had an abortion, which, because I wasn't on contraception, because of all the backlash of all of that, does that have an impact?
It depends how it was done, who did it, do you have scarring inside, you know, and that's another, I'd write about I wasn't going to write about it, but I thought
it's a very taboo topic, and I did
really
mention recently on here that I had one, and people, there was I didn't actually I stopped reading the comments because I think people were slightly offended. It's not to offend anyone.
No,
I
wrote about it because I've had clients, like, it's my clients that made me write this book. So, like, the work you've done's really made a difference to me, like them saying that. And I've had clients who've had abortions and then struggled years later to have a baby. And the guilt, the guilt that they feel is so unfair. You don't know why someone's had an abortion, and to be honest, it's none of your business.
But also, it's our fucking bodies. And
It's
I think
your
people
body.
forget that very quickly. And I understand, like, you know, people religious views, and everyone does have their own opinion on it. However, unless it's actually you, quite frankly, fuck off.
Yeah, it's none of anyone else's business, but that media and societal's judgment, and then you can't conceive, is even more of a stress on the body.
Yeah.
And so I write about that, and there's certain exercises you can do in the book to help, because I think it's really important.
Yeah.
And you don't know, do you have scarring from it? You know, it depends. You know, did you have a D&C afterwards? Like, all of these things are important. Miscarriages as well.
Have you noticed if there's people seem to be miscarrying a lot more now? Like, has there suddenly been a rise or anything, an increase?
I think some people have many and some people don't. But what I'm now working with a charity called Fertility Action Network, and you know, you only get referred to the recurrent miscarriage unit if you've had 3 miscarriages.
What?
Like, 2 is enough.
I don't going through.
Like, do you have
one
to go
would be
through
enough.
that before someone starts investigating your body? I think it's terrible.
It's interesting that you actually, because on Instagram, it always leads back to bloody Instagram, doesn't it? But I've got friends who have been vocal about miscarriages, and then you get in the comment section people going, "Oh, just keep it to yourself," which I think is really wrong, because it's actually like, if you've gone through some experience, to help someone else to put it out there for someone else to take away from, oh, you know, things could be fine and stuff, I think is beneficial.
Yeah,
I don't know why the fuck everyone
100%.
hates it.
So I've had one at 20 weeks and one at 7 weeks as well. And I never spoke to anybody really about it. You know, when I had the 20, I never forget this. I was a young girl, I was 25, and the doctor said, your baby has successfully aborted itself. I'd recommend you can try in about another 6 to 8 weeks, and handed me a leaflet. And also, when you go to check that everything's successfully gone, you don't have any retained, what's called retained products, that everyone else is pregnant. They're all going for their scans and they're all pregnant.
Yeah,
and you're in the same queue to check that your baby's completely gone. I think that needs to be changed.
I don't think people appreciate the mental stress and like the shame, the embarrassment, but it's so, I think for women, it's so heavy. And also you just like, I don't know, it's a lot of decision makings, and I think...
And I think that hormone dump as well after a miscarriage an abortion, people don't take into consideration.
Yeah, I know, because that's what I had. I had severe depression, and I was filming Made in Chelsea at the time, and I remember I couldn't figure out what it was, and I thought I was mentally, I felt fine, physically I felt fine, mentally something was wrong, and I was crying all the time. I was an absolute bitch, but there was I didn't really know what to say to anyone, because I couldn't tell anyone I had an abortion, and then I was just sort of like, yeah, it's very isolating and lonely. And I think that's what's sad now with women, is that they automatically assume if you can't get pregnant, they take that responsibility.
100%.
And it's not, it actually really shouldn't. That narrative kind of needs to change, because it's sort of...
But also, on the flip side, men need to be supported. Men need to be supported on every step of, say, even an IVF process, failure of implantation, early miscarriage. They need to be supported because men are like, oh, I just have to be the rock. But it's their loss too.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And it's not spoken about.
Do you ever notice if couples, it causes a lot more tension amongst couples?
100%.
Really?
100%. Because there's the self-guilt. If I'm the problem, and then there could be resentment. Like, I'll use me and my partner as an example. We had to sit down and have a proper conversation whether we could stay together if I couldn't have children. Because I already had a child and he didn't have a child, and he was, I think, 39, 40. And he said, I don't know. And I said, well, I can't take that from you.
Yeah.
I can't have you resenting me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a conversation that people have. Also, sex. People are just like, I don't feel like myself anymore. I'm only having sex to have a baby. I feel like a baby machine. The guy feels rejected. I've had guys, because I often split up my clients, crying in the car. Like, I feel disgusting. I don't feel sexually attractive anymore because she just wants me for my sperm.
Yeah.
And people don't talk. Guys can't. You know, they're only talking to me about it. They're not talking that, down paddle.
But it's what's so sort of not sad but hard, I suppose, is that this is something a lot of people are going through, but no one speaks.
Yeah.
But how do we change that? Is it just a way of making guys feel more comfortable knowing that they're not alone? Like, I feel like everyone should know they're not alone in this. Like, what is the percentage of women generally mid to late 30s that are struggling to get pregnant?
I think so many. And also because, like you say, we're working hard. We're expected to have the job. We're expected to still do the majority of the cleaning and the cooking. We're expected to look pretty, all of those things. Don't even get me started on the amount of chemicals we put on our body every day. 168 chemicals on average every woman puts on her body every day. How are you detoxifying that if you're not taking glutathione? And how do you know unless you've done a genetics, how you methylate and even how you detoxify things? You would detoxify things different to me, but how do we know unless we test? So that's why I always encourage my clients, test, don't guess.
I'm straight to surgery after this, by the way. I'll get everything checked.
But yeah, test.
No, I actually do though, because I don't know, it's not one of those things, but it's not, because I've wanted kids and I do want kids, but I am not in a rush about it. Like, and for me, my view on it is, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, it's not, but I'm probably different in that.
It's nice to have that choice.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people.
And to prepare yourself for that choice. What if you suddenly decide, yeah, I really, really do, and then you're like, oh, now I have to go and do all these checks.
Yeah,
but it's not always necessarily an insurance policy as well, because many people think, oh, egg freezing is the great hurrah. What happens if when they defrost, they're not as good, right?
I'm going to be honest, I'm not hugely knowledgeable on egg freezing. The process of what actually happens. So they take your eggs out. Well, how do you have to start? Because you have to inject yourself.
You will stimulate, because you're not naturally every month going to produce 19 eggs, are you? But you want to harvest more than one egg in the freezer, so you would have to stimulate. But I always encourage people. So say for you, let's take you for example, right?
Yeah.
Stop smoking at least 3 to 4 months before.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You're gonna get your tests. See, do you methylate certain vitamins well? How is your vitamin D? Do you have the MHFR
Can I just say my vitamin D is excellent, as my doctor just said.
Well done.
Which is shocking, but I think that's because I've been on the sunbeds. Not joking. Does that actually have an impact? Or I just got back from holiday? No, seriously.
You just came back from holiday, probably. But I had a client recently, and she had the MHFR. I have to close my eyes because I'm dyslexic, so I have to see it. So I apologise. MHFR gene, and then the CMOT.
I mean, I've got a fucking clue what that means.
But she had those. So, but if you don't know, so her prenatal was working against her rather than for her because she had those genes. So if you don't know, you can do a test for like, I don't know, 250 quid. I'd rather do that than be chugging all of these
Other
supplements
things, yeah.
that are making it worse, for example.
Yeah.
So I would do all of that first.
Yeah.
Get your bone broth in.
I'm trying. I'm going to put that
So,
cinnamon in.
and then, test, is your thyroid working? All of these things, make sure you're getting enough choline in, because that's really good. It's like the cover for your eggs. It's like a good protector. Choline, CHOLINE.
And is that a supplement?
It's in eggs, for example. That's why everyone's like eggs for your quality, but we're probably not getting enough.
How many eggs should one really be eating? Because we were just talking about this.
I would just take a supplement because you don't want to bind yourself up as well.
But back to constipation.
Yeah, that's really good for neurodevelopment. It's really good for protecting your ovaries, as well as selenium, which is found in Brazil nuts.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. So you want to be looking at food first, of course, but our food is not what it was. It's not as nutrient dense as it was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So test where you are and then add in supplement. So to prep your eggs for the said harvest.
Okay.
And you can do multiple harvests as well.
And how much does that roughly cost?
For an egg freezing thing, depends where you go, starts maybe like £1,300.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
not cheap.
But it's...
Well,
And then when you say you freeze them, how long can they be in the freezer? Like, do they sort of not drop in value, but like over time, do they?
But you have to pay for them to be frozen as well. For how long? So you might want to freeze them a bit longer as well. So do you freeze them for 5 years, 10 years?
And what would be the difference in say I froze mine now and then either popping them back in when I hit 38 or when I'm 43?
They say nothing. But I'm like, it's about the quality of what you put in as well. Many women just be like, yeah, I'm just going to freeze my eggs next month. And I'm like, don't freeze them. You're still drinking. You're still stressed. You're still...
Yeah.
Just because you look okay on the outside doesn't mean you're okay on the inside. And it doesn't mean they're of their best quality just because of the age relation.
Yeah.
Therefore, in the higher numbers you have, statistically, you would have some better quality. But it's about the quality. It's really about the quality.
Okay, so when you...
I've had some ladies that have frozen them and defrosted and, frozen 19 and only 2 or 3 are good. And are you going to fertilize? Are they going to be the 2 or 3 that are fertilized? You want to get the best quality. Because also it's what are you passing on to your child?
Yeah. And with the IVF, so what does one, to prepare your body, what are you doing? Injecting yourself with something?
You inject, you have to take certain
Is it agony?
tablets. I've never done it, right? I've never gone through IVF, but I have clients I've even injected my friends, But it's in your little bit of your chubby, right? Your chubby there, so it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Like I inject glutathione at home, like it doesn't hurt.
Really?
So it's once you get over it, they're like, it's a needle.
No, because I follow
okay.
some influencers who they sort of show their stages of it, and it does look agony, if I'm honest. Like what I would just
try and make it fun. Like it, I often have clients that feel that IVF is the booby prize. I couldn't do it naturally for whatever.
Yeah.
So make it fun. Take a picture of the first time you ever did it, and put a love heart around it, and get your partner to inject you, because then that makes them part of the process.
And you're doing it together, yeah.
Yeah, then you're doing it together. Have the set music that you do or something, and then create a scrapbook and give it to your child when they're 16 or something, so they understand what you went through.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to your lupus diagnosis.
Still, I still have an issue with what happened. It's even my eldest says, I used to put clove around the house and chew clove and rub frankincense on my gums. And she's like, Mummy, I can't smell it anymore. She says, I think I've got PTSD from what that reminds me of. So I was, like I said to you earlier, at 28, I was bleeding just constantly. I used to have this huge afro and loads of my hair was just falling out. I used to be a model, and my skin I was primarily like a beauty model as well,
Yeah.
beauty and swimwear. And I had this amazing skin. And I started getting this rash here. It's called a butterfly rash,
Right.
like lumpy, scaly rash. And I was losing weight, which you think would be great for a model, but not for a swimwear.
No.
Underwear model. It's not great when you see all like the rack of lamb bits there and the ribs sticking out. And I was losing weight. I started getting insomnia, high anxiety, really bad joint pain. Got to the point where I couldn't even plait my daughter's hair.
Shit.
I'd have to get up, have a bath, like get up an hour and 2 hours before her to have a bath to get my joints going. I'd eat so much sugar just to, be on point. And eventually I went back and forth to the doctors. First doctor said...
the common cold or some bollocks.
No, he said, oh, you're a model. It's probably just a reaction to a dirty makeup brush or something.
Helpful.
So topical antibiotic on my skin, which made my skin flake off. Then another one said, oh, go on the sunbed. That will help clear it up. Actually made it worse. Painkillers everywhere. And then it was a locum that I went to see, like a temporary doctor.
Yeah.
And she said, when your joint pain's really bad in your hips, does your face get worse? And I said, yeah, it does. And she said, have you heard of... Oh, no, did you watch House? And I said, yeah, I do. I love it. And she said, it's never lupus. And I said, yeah. She said, well, I think it is. I think it might be. And she sent me off with a big, long blood form. And I went to, I think it was Whittington Hospital. I remember going on the bus. It was November. And they took my bloods. And they said, you have 9 out of the 11 markers for lupus. Gave me a leaflet. And the one thing that I was so shocked, because it never was lupus, and I always knew it was like a bad thing from House. And the one thing I remember that stood out in the leaflet, it said it was a great percentage, I can't remember what it was, but of people with lupus ends in divorce. And that's what I took from it. And
Why would you put that in a fucking leaflet?
I'd just met this great guy like the year before. And I was like, I've met like the man of my dreams.
This is pre-baby, right?
Pre-baby.
Yeah.
We're going... So I was diagnosed at 30.
Yeah, okay,
so 20
got you.
years
Yeah.
ago. I was like, I've met this amazing guy. And it did end up splitting us up. I've met this amazing guy. And now I'm not only losing my hair, I've lost loads of weight.
No, don't.
Might lose my job. And now I'm going to lose him. And in the end, I did. I lost everything.
Fuck.
I lost all my money, everything, because I couldn't work, and lupus wasn't on like a disability thing where you could claim
What did you do? What
money.
did you do though?
I just spent all my savings. I had to rent out my flat because I couldn't get up the stairs.
This is horrific.
I had to move to a ground floor flat. I ended up with a it still gets to me. It's
No,
so
don't.
weird. I ended
Because
up with
that's a hell of a lot.
I ended up with a Zimmer frame.
And you're 30.
Yeah, well, this was by the time I was about 35. A lever to get me out of bed, a walker. I never forget the guy coming to fit it all, and he was like, "Oh, is your grandma in?" And I was like, "No, it's me." And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Oh my God.
Yeah, I remember my daughter. I can't remember how old she was. Maybe like 14. And I really wanted to go and buy her new school uniform and all her stationery, but I couldn't get out of bed. And I called my GP, and he was like, "Oh, I'll give you a steroid injection." And that was the only way I could get to the shopping centre was with this. But it gave me roid rage. And I was really like, "We've got to get shopping." And I went from one extreme to the other.
But when you were going
It was
through
just
any of this,
awful.
what support did you have? Like...
You could go to a support group, but it was miles away and I couldn't get there. Like, I couldn't physically get there. There was no support. I'm sure there is support now, 20 years later, but there was no support for us. And there was what I found awful, there was no support for my daughter because she was like a carer for me, really.
That's so hard.
There was no support for her. So yeah, I spent all of my money just living, paying my rent. And then they just kept saying there's no cure, no cure, no cure, which there is still no cure.
Just out of curiosity, is lupus hereditary, or how does one get it? It's just it just happens.
Just the gods. But you're more likely to have it if someone else in your family has had it, but no one's in my family had it. I'm actually writing a book on it now with 8 different doctors.
Really?
Yeah.
And anything that triggers it, or is it could
Trauma.
It be, okay.
More likely if you've given birth, because that is a trauma. Right. Some people have it as a reaction to certain medications. There's been people that have had it because of the jab. That's been their reaction of it.
Because I'm going to be honest, I'm not hugely knowledgeable in the lupus area, because you don't really hear too many people speaking about it.
People don't speak about it, and I have been slagged off and slated. What? And why I don't talk about it a lot, my journey on Instagram, because the backlash I get, she's a fake, she must never have had it, all of these things.
Sorry?
Yeah. She's a liar, you can't reverse it. Yeah. Because people don't, I don't know, people don't want to know.
People are fucking weird. They need to I honestly just report them. I'm going to start reporting people like that. How on earth on Instagram could you get away with commenting that onto someone who's been sick?
Yeah, because I'm better now and I've reversed all of my markers. I'm not saying they're not going to come back. I mean, I do have some alopecia scarring here now, which is autoimmune, right? But I don't have any of the other issues. And I don't care if it's lying dormant. I would rather say everything I did, I am living proof. I can bench press more than my own body weight. I can run. I choose to wear a wig now. I don't have to wear a wig.
Yeah.
I have a tinted moisturizer on now. I don't have the thing.
And did you along the way work out what was going to work for you, and you figured this whole journey out yourself?
Well, I went to see a functional medicine practitioner, and he said, you're one of the sickest people I've ever met, but we'll get you better.
Jesus.
And for anyone out there who has an autoimmune issue, read the work of Dr. Tom O'Brien. I had the immense pleasure of meeting him earlier on this year, and we were both crying.
Really?
Because of reading his work, that I was like, I can get better.
Can you get tested for it? Is it something you could test for?
Yeah, you could test for it. Dr. Tom O'Brien, I was lying in bed, read one of his medical papers, and he said you could reverse majority of the autoimmune. So I was like, okay, I'm going to find every single thing he's written and follow his advice, as well as seeing his functional medicine doctor. And within months, I'd lowered my markers. My medical team at the Louise Coote Centre, which is the best centre in the whole of England, like people come from Scotland to go there, in London, were like, I don't know what you're doing, but just keep on doing it, because your markers are just going down and down, and your blood work is getting brilliant, to the point where instead of being seen every 4 to 6 weeks, it went every 3 months, then every 6 months, then just once a year.
That's amazing.
And the drugs that I was on methotrexate, and I was having to have my blood work taken every 2 weeks because it can damage your lungs and damage your liver. So I didn't need to be on that, even if it just meant I didn't need to be on that anymore.
So say you hadn't done your research and someone with lupus had followed the instructions of a doctor, what are their percentage of getting back to normal?
There's none. You just have to have drug. At one point I was on 18 drugs, and one made me feel suicidal, so I had to take it at night.
I'm so baffled by all this. I just think that's so mental.
And one of the drugs really affects your gut. And I was telling them, this is affecting my gut. And your immune system, majority is made in your gut. It makes no sense. And they were just like, this was like 16 years ago. And they were saying, nah, doesn't matter. It's fine. It'll be fine. When I found out I was pregnant, I wanted to go back and get everything checked again, because I didn't want this to affect my baby. And when I went back, there was posters everywhere saying clinical trials on exactly the same medication that I said affects your gut, saying it could affect your gut and we want to explore it. And now they're like, it does affect your gut.
Bloody
Which
hell.
makes no sense.
That's ridiculous. Were you nervous when you got pregnant because of the lupus?
No, I was more nervous. It's really sad. And I've had this with just a client recently. They're pregnant. Post 40, they are, naturally. And they felt like they haven't told anyone apart from me.
that they're
because
pregnant.
they don't want to disappoint anyone and get anyone excited in case they miscarry because of the high rates of miscarriage later
Yeah.
on. So that's even robbed from you.
Yeah.
So I was worried about that. So I didn't tell anyone until I was like 24 weeks.
Really? That's quite lonely.
Yeah, it's
Isn't
really
it?
low. And also, I never forget us on the bathroom floor just looking, just going, yeah. Right.
Whereas you should be over the moon.
Yeah, and giving each other a hug. We didn't hug until, I think it was the 20-week scan? And then we hugged and burst out crying. Until then, it was like, you're just waiting for it not to
Oh,
happen.
no, don't. It's such that's terrible.
Yeah. So I say to my clients, let's celebrate it, even if we get just this far.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate it, because I want that for you. I didn't have that, and I want that for my clients.
Yeah. God, it's a minefield. Did you where's your lupus now? Like, how are you?
Nothing's active. I do have a thyroid issue. So that's probably, it's an autoimmune thing.
Yeah.
I will go and sort that out, but I've been busy trying to have a baby, having a baby.
Yeah.
You can't sort that out when you're postpartum. Then I decided to take a new career. Then I've written a book. Now I'm on book 2 that is a month late already. And then I've started on book 3.
I mean, it's
So-
all pretty fucking phenomenal stuff, to be honest with you. It's not like you've been roaming around.
So, but I will, that is my next thing.
Yeah. What is the impact of of one's thyroid? Like, what is
So
it?
you can have overactive or underactive, and both can impact fertility.
Yeah.
So I was told that there was nothing. My preliminary thyroid testing, not the full thyroid panel, because quite often in the NHS they'll just do TSH, T3, T4. They don't do your TPOs, thyroid antibodies. And when I paid for that, they were like, oof, they're way over. Like, my thyroid antibodies were really high, which means, so my thyroid was having to work really, really, really hard to give a good reading.
Right.
So I was getting really hot at night. So my doctor was like, oh, maybe you're just perimenopausal. And I was losing weight, and I'm already quite slim.
Yeah.
But I was losing weight, and it was actually suggested that I had anorexia, and I was lying. So
Can I just ask you a question? What sort of faith have you got in doctors at this point? Would you go to one?
No, I do. I think there's some men. My ex is a doctor. I have some great doctors that are friends. There's some absolutely brilliant. I have some clients that are GPs that even they can't get their bloods taken. They're like, I'm a GP and I can't.
But
I've
what?
been on a
I'm
list.
sorry, but why? What on earth is going on?
The NHS is doing an amazing job with what they've got. Don't forget, we've got a rise in obesity. That affects so many things.
Yeah.
A huge rise in obesity. We've got a rise in people drinking. We've got a rise in people with poverty, so children not having enough nutrient density. We do have a rise in neurodiversity diagnosis. So the NHS is really, really stretched. And I was arguing with someone on Instagram the other day saying, yeah, but the NHS can't test for all of those extra thyroid panels. I'm like, but why? Because it's false economy. Because if someone's then overweight, what are you going to do? Go and give them a weight loss drug because actually maybe it was a thyroid issue and you haven't explored that, or they're underweight and I was having immense jaw pain because of my thyroid. So then I was having to be given loads of painkillers, and then it infected my gums. Then I was on antibiotics. Wouldn't it have been more financial test to rule that out and to find it out? And then also, then you've got to have the knock-on effect. If people are ill, then they're not able to work. And then you might have to pay them some sort of social security thing, or, you're having to give sick pay from a business. It's false economy.
Yeah. God, it's interesting, isn't it? When you just said about the fat loss jab, I read something. It sounds like I read a lot. I don't. Something came up and it was this whole sort of thing of Ozempic babies.
Yes, I really wanted you to ask me about this.
Have we? So what I read was people are being encouraged. This is more in the States to go on Ozempic to get pregnant, but there's a chance their child has a defect.
Yeah, there was I don't know what kind of clinical doctor was on. I saw something, a clip yesterday. I don't know if he was an obstetrician or a gynecologist saying, yeah, I get my women on this. And then even if you look at the weight loss jab production people, whoever make it, they have a thing that says on every single one, because I had a client that has got pregnant while she was taking this. Naturally, so we were going to clean up things before she went for IVF.
Yeah.
So I went on a deep dive and looked at all of every single one, and they all say stop taking it a month to 3 months before you want to try and conceive. So these doctors that are using it, to go and make your baby.
But what I don't, I'm confused.
Well, we don't know yet.
But this is I then read another thing and it said basically Ozempic, whatever, just cancels out your contraception, which is why people are getting pregnant.
Well, no, it might be because if you've got a high BMI, insulin resistance, all of those things can affect your fertility. That's why in the NHS you're not eligible for IVF if your BMI is high. Yeah. All of those things could be contributing factors. But we must understand that it's not about just getting pregnant. It's about having a healthy child and then being healthy.
But how does one,
not to scaremonger people.
No, but are there any studies on what exactly these defects could potentially be?
Only on mice so far, because it's such a new drug. And on mice, it's given defects in their babies.
I'm sort of speechless at it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how is a doctor slightly recommending taking something that
many doctors won't. I know they won't in England, but what scares me is I had a client the other week and she wanted to lose a bit of weight and she said, oh yeah, I tried to get it on the grey black market.
No, the woman died. Yeah, they've just seized a load of these fake injections. But I think
that's what worries me. Those women that want to just lose a few extra pounds that are taking it and not being monitored while they're taking it. I mean, my client that did get pregnant has got pregnant whilst on it. It's great because she's under a proper doctor. So they're like, okay, stop taking it now. We're gonna do some tests, and it's
so she did stop taking it before trying. Okay,
no. She was told she couldn't have children.
Yeah.
And they were going for IVF, or so she was infertile. And then she's miraculously got pregnant, but she's on the weight loss jab. So her weight loss jab practitioner has told her to stop, and then they're going to monitor her. But what happens if you're just taking it off the grey market and you haven't told anyone, and you're not telling your IVF clinic, or you're not telling your obstetrician or your gynecologist? That's why people need to be transparent.
100%, and I think,
and people are not.
But I mean, I know a fair amount of people who are on it, if I'm honest with you. Firstly, it's obvious. I think people need to realise that actually a lot of people, if you suddenly dropped a shit ton of weight, it tends to be because of that. Another slight question on that topic: what impact does if you suffer or have gone through an eating disorder in your teenage years / when you're sort of young, what impact can that have on your fertility?
I think the great thing about body, and we can talk about men as well, right? Because men have eating disorders as well.
Across the board.
Yeah. So men, it's great. Your sperm rejuvenates around every 70 days. So they're really lucky if they've got a sperm profile that's not so great. They can really rejuvenate. But we can also replenish and rejuvenate our bodies.
Yeah.
Massively.
Okay.
So don't be like, okay, in my teens I had an eating disorder. The body is rejuvenating all the time. If I can be here and not be a scaly lupus mess without lesions here and my tongue bleeding.
Can I say, look at you, you'd never know. You look amazing. I also had no idea you were wearing a wig.
Yeah, got a wig on, but that's by choice now.
No, you look
great.
I'm
lazy daisy.
I might go back to wearing one because honestly, this looks like a fucking bush in the mornings. And then when I get off the tube, it's
and then
even
also
worse.
you have to put less chemicals in your hair for highlights, toning,
Oh, yeah.
all of that kind of stuff.
This
right?
is a really
It's
random
actually
question.
cheaper.
But why is it? Is this? Can we just talk about quick myths about when one is pregnant, what you shouldn't be doing, like getting your hair dyed,
so
getting
if
your
you're
nails
not
done?
meant to be doing that, this is another thing, right? So if can I have a look at your nails?
Okay, let's build a jar.
Okay, right. So let's talk about build a jar. Right. I've been banging on about
Basically,
this.
should get locked in a box for a
no,
week.
No. But it's about what are you willing to give up and what are you willing to keep, right? It's all about levels. We can't all be crunchy mums. I'm not, a crunchy mum. I'll eat a pizza or I'll have a gluten-free cake that has normal sugar in it. You can't become obsessive because that's not healthy for you either.
Yeah.
But just think about it. Was it earlier this year? It's been banned. Some of the chemicals
countries.
in certain countries, right?
Yeah.
Because it's going right into your body. And some, not all, but some of these products have the same chemical structure of super glue. So now would you put super glue under your body, put it under an ultraviolet light and be like, oh, that's really, really good. That's going straight into my body and affecting
Sounds awful.
everything
I just don't think
inside.
about these things.
We don't think about it because it's become so normalized.
I only just the other day reminded myself I used to spray my face with fucking hairspray before a night out. I used
to do that.
Dream
I used to
of
put
doing that
hairspray
now.
on a thing for my lashes so they stuck up like that. It's
Because
really
there
good.
was that other thing recently about Olaplex, which I think then turned out... Was that legit or was that not?
Yeah, no, it was only in some of the... I don't know which numbers, it has like 1 to whatever, but it's, it'd been removed. Same with suntan lotions. Many of those have been removed because it's too high a level. All of those things. So if you just think it's about lowering the toxic burden, we live in the modern world. We can't avoid it. You know, I'm wearing, this isn't silk. I don't even know what it is. It's from a charity shop, but it's, it's not a natural fiber. So these, are all giving off. We're just living in a toxic world. So it's about lowering it. We can't just eliminate it and go and live out on an island in the middle of nowhere.
Listen, the expense of fucking London will all be on an island soon, I think. I certainly will.
But you've got to think about what you put in your body. If HRT works, it's a gel you put onto your body, it affects your hormones. Why does your body moisturizer then not affect your hormones? Why does your perfume not affect your hormones? It makes sense. You can't have it one way and not the other.
Because what's the other thing they say? Is it during pregnancy you shouldn't wear perfume, or when you've just had it?
So when you're pregnancy, you shouldn't wear it, and when you've had the baby as well, because it's sucking everything in, and it needs your hormones and it needs your microbiome as well.
Okay.
And you're not allowed to wear it if you work in a lab. Right?
Interesting.
In IVF. So I wear perfume, but it's made with essential oils. And you can go to a shop. I'm not affiliated to them. The bottles are not so pretty. You can decant into another bottle if you want. But you can take your normal fragrance, and there they'll be like, oh, it's a 610, and you'll buy it. And it's essential oils that last longer anyway, and cheaper, and less of an endocrine disruptor.
I'm learning a lot today, let me tell you.
Yay.
Friday. No, it is. I find this all so fascinating just because I think it's really, I don't know, I think where I find it sort of hard is the sort of not misinformation, but the sort of amount of information that's out there.
Yes, it's the massive amount of information.
But where does one draw the line or figure out what the fuck's actually right?
Exactly. So I think, look at your body and think, what am I willing to change?
All right, I'll quit the
and
smoking.
What am I willing?
Okay?
Are you going to quit
Everyone's heard it here.
smoking?
I'll quit the smoking.
Because would you put 7,000 chemicals, how many fags a day do you have? 10?
It's a lot, 20. Okay.
20 times a day into your baby. You wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
And I always ask clients, years ago I used to work in a shop and we had these shirts and they were £10 or something. And then they were for kids. But then we weren't selling them. So then I put them for £60 and people bought them. People are more likely to invest in their children than they are themselves. But we forget the blueprint, the roadmap, not just for the pregnancy or your birth or your postpartum, all that child's development within the first 7 years when everything's sort of forming together. But their adult life is all quite a lot from what we're doing now.
It's a little bit worrying, if I'm honest, but
No, but I've got a daughter. She's healthy. I was on a driveway, been to the Hacienda and Cream on a Sunday at 7 a.m, then took a flight to Thailand and found out on the Thursday I was pregnant. I was like, oh my God, my child is going to be deformed.
yeah.
And she's part of Mensa. She's like super smart and healthy. So don't judge yourself.
Yeah. What okay, so I know we obviously spoke about women getting to a certain age getting checked. With men, when should they think about having like their sperm count checked?
I think, because you don't know, I think whenever you can, their tests are a lot cheaper as well. Or I always encourage people to lie to your GP and say you've been trying for a year. They don't know what you've been doing in the bedroom or your hallway, do they?
Yeah. Your hallway. Bunch of perverts. No, I'm joking. No, I know.
They don't. So say you've been trying for, if you're considering having a child for the next 2 to 3 years, say you've already been trying for a year, then because you might have great sperm, like, great, well, however I'm looking after myself now is fine. But if you don't have great sperm and you need to improve it, there's a great test him. There's a great guide to follow called Knackered Knackers. He's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, just get that test and then test again 6 months later and see what it's like.
Okay.
I always get 2 tests.
What would you class as, how long should one be trying for to realise it's not working? Because, I mean, I've spoken to people and they've tried for 3 months, they go, oh, we're struggling. Which, in my eyes, I don't think 3 months seems like a long time.
It's like a year. It's meant to be a year.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because also, were you trying on the right date? Many people don't even know about their own ovulation. I always call it this, ovulation mucus. They don't know about their mucus. They don't even know about their own body.
Yeah.
Or their app says they're ovulating and then they'll do another app.
And says something completely different.
So you might have had sex on the wrong day.
Yeah. Do you...
or you might not have done our double ejaculation.
Oh, yeah, the double spunk.
Might have not had the best one.
Yeah, that is very true.
You can have... also, I wanted to talk about this. Before that, like during the week, you can do testicular massage. I was talking to a client earlier this morning.
We do it on a man, or they do it on
themselves?
Or
they can do it themselves.
Oh my God.
Whatever.
I'm joking.
Whatever makes you happy.
Testicular massage.
Yeah, so you can do womb massage as well. So, and then there's been really good results on testicular massage. I would call it like that. Like, it's not a horse.
Hello,
like, how big are they?
A fucking great load. That's okay.
So it's about the blood flow as well. So it's really good for the blood flow and get things flowing, because a lot of men have things like varicoceles, which is like a varicose vein within the scrotum, which is very common, but it depends on how wide it is as well, and how many you have.
Oh no, and that was another random. I keep thinking of really random crap that I've seen on social media, which is probably all a lie. Cyclists.
Yeah, no, that's not a thing. So you meant to have, baggy underwear, phone not in the front. But I always say this is like basic. Phone don't have it in your front pocket. Yeah. It's like radiation on your balls. Like, why would you do that? Don't even get me started on electric cars, but that's not a thing. Why would you sit in a battery? It just makes no sense.
No, because you do hear all this stuff, and I sometimes wonder, is this all a myth or is it not? Because
no, even your GP will say that to you. Phone not in the front pocket. Don't go sauna steam. Don't have your laptop right on your
But sauna
willy.
and steam, what do you mean? Just like...
Because it's too hot.
But before generally, as in
no, just in general, because it's continuously...
I'm just going to have to send a group chat to people because I know the amount of...
It's continuously reproducing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's continuously regenerating within your happy area. You don't know when you're going to use it, do you?
Okay, because we've got some heated up sperm.
You don't want any hot sperm. They want it to be like chilled out. I think we're taught in school. I'm right on a rampage now.
No, because can I
so wanted you to be on this, because you ask all not the boring questions that everyone can just go and find out. You ask the real proper nitty gritty ones. Why are we not talking about this in school? We're just taught about...
We're not even taught about fucking menopause. And to be honest with you, this is what I was going to ask about, because I don't know what's changed or what it is. The knowledge on menopause for younger people to understand, there is none, and you almost like it's you've got to wait till you're in menopause to then deal with it. But then there's all this stuff saying you should take certain things pre getting there. But it's even back down. So I started a lube company, and me and my business partner realised sex ed across the board when you're at school is pretty horrific. You don't learn much. I mean, you learn about how to basically have sex in the reproductive system, but
and
you
not
don't
to get
learn
an STI.
anything. Yeah, and to wear a fucking condom. They don't teach you about the fact that actually you might not be able to conceive, or the struggles that you go through. What happens when you're having a miscarriage? Like, there's so many different things.
Why are you bleeding after sex? Why is it painful?
But no one ever says that. No one discusses the pain.
No,
during
it's just
sex.
meant to be just like normal, like normal. I remember my daughter and her friends coming back from a sex ed session
I thought you were
at
about to say
school.
sex party, and I was like,
sex ed.
that's close.
No.
Yeah.
They were like maybe 14, and I said, "Did you understand everything?" They were like, "No." And I said, "What question did you really want to ask?" And they asked me all those questions, and I gave them the answer. Well, some I had to Google. Like, they were like, "How long should it last?"
Yeah.
You know, all of these things. Like, people don't know, and I think you need to be told in school about that part, but also about fertility and also about the menopause, because you're going to be around someone, your mum, your auntie, someone at work.
Yeah.
You know, I last year went in and talked about the menopause to 40 odd men in HR.
Really?
Yeah, and they were like at first, and we did menopause bingo. And at the end of it, some of those guys, they were like, "You really helped me understand my wife," or "You really helped me understand some of the people that are working underneath me, and now I can help them."
That's actually such an amazing, clever thing to do, isn't it? Because I suppose men, like, you just, not that they're, yeah.
Just or go hot. Like, even my partner, right? I do this stuff for a job, and he said, "You keep talking about perimenopause on your Instagram." I said, "Benjamin, I'm 51. Of course I'm going through it summer." He said, "But his exact words were, you're not crying and getting hot all the
I know.
time."
I think men's idea of what menopause really means is they've dried up and they're a bit sweaty. Because whenever my mum would raise her voice, my dad goes, "That's the menopause." I was like, "What, for the last 20 years?" I was like, "I don't think so." But like, what is the average age? Like, what is the age that's the average age of someone who would be going through sort of perimenopause?
Can we not do averages?
No,
because no one's an average person.
But it's so, because I think
and you could have been going through it for 15 years. Also, the signs on the outside.
But what would be a sign?
I think there's so many. So of course the ones we know, hot sweats, but joint pain, insomnia, less tolerance to alcohol, all of these things. So I just did a test, and I was doing it for fertility to show people I think you should test your vaginal and uterine microbiome.
Yeah. While we're actually just on that quickly, can you explain all of this? The vaginal
right. So it's just as though we have a gut microbiome, and that's become the big buzzword of the past 5-10 years.
Yeah.
You've got different populations of microbiome in your vagina and in your uterus, right? So I wanted to do the test just to show people how easy it is to do. I didn't actually show it, but then I just got the results. I went through them with my friend, who actually, she is a band registered nutritionist, and that's her specialist. I have BV. Right. And I did not know I had bacterial vaginosis, right? I have no symptoms, and 70% of women have it and don't have any symptoms. I told my friend, "Oh my God, I've got this." I rang her. She was like, "I'm going to go and get a test." She had it. Told my other friend, she had it. Right? Three of us have got it. So I've probably got it because of my age, because the low estrogen is not able to keep my microbiome happy, right? But that can cause pelvic pain area. It's really bad for fertility. I had 1.97 good bacteria, and I have no symptoms at all. So if I hadn't tested, I wouldn't have known.
Yeah. What's the long-term damage of BV?
Well, infertility.
Yeah.
Birth defects. Well, all of these things, right? And you can just get a test. You just stick this swab up there.
Yeah. And what about HPV?
That's a whole other area.
Well, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure what the fuck that is.
Well, now they've got the vaccine for it.
Right.
That's not really, I don't really think that's a test that you can go and get on the high street, but it might be. I don't know.
The HPV gene, is it a gene?
Yeah, you can have
It's
the
a
gene.
gene.
You can get tested as
Yeah.
well. So I think people, this is what I'm talking about. Test, even I didn't know I had that. I have no symptoms. And if I was trying to have a child, that could really impact. And you can also get a seminal fluid one, so you can test your sperm as well. And in the uterus you can have failure of implantation. All of these things is really important. And then also, if you think the baby's got to come out of mostly out of the your vagina, if it's got loads of bad bacteria, that's the first bacteria that's going to get covered in. And we understand how important that is now. Like 20 years ago, when you had a baby, they used to wash it all off, that vernix. But now they say rub it in and don't wash your baby for at least a week. So we're understanding, like, science is really changing. I know when I just had my daughter, 6 years ago, my mum was like, have you not washed the baby yet? You need to wash the baby.
I'm just thinking of the smell, perhaps. It might be a lot.
No, they smell lovely. It doesn't stink, honestly. It's not gross.
You know how you just said things down there? Do you have a specific view on sanitary pads, moon cups and tampons?
100%.
Tell me which one you think. Don't say the moon cup, please.
Well, the moon cup, I personally just didn't get on with it. And apparently you meant to try a few. But I'm just like, what's it made of? And putting that in my vagina as well.
Yeah.
I would also, if you're going for, what are they called? Period pants, look at what they're made of.
Right.
Because microplastics, well, you don't want that microplastics in there. It's hot environment, you're bleeding, sucking up all those plastic toxic fumes. There are some that are made of bamboo, so just do your research.
Yeah.
Same with sanitary towels. Cotton, when cotton is made, it is not fluorescent white and beautiful, and it's not perfumed.
Have you not seen this thing on TikTok with the pad and a girl putting it up to a light?
Yeah, and all the stuff that's in it. Same in nappies.
But what is that?
They're like little gel bead things,
Oh, I thought it was
aren't they,
dirt
as
or
well?
something.
No, there's gel beads. Yeah, but there'll be dirt,
Yeah.
there'll be bacteria, but there's gel beads. They dye the cotton. So why would you put bleached cotton up your vagina for 2 hours and then change it again?
And that's tampons.
That's tampons. So just get a natural one. There's many around, even your local high street sells them now. But always if you have to spend 50p more, spend the 50p more. Towels as well. You can get washable ones. It depends how far you want to go.
Yeah. But I suppose small changes like that could really actually make a difference. And if it is purely just
Definitely
swapping one
to your
tampon
vagina.
to another.
Yeah, one tampon to another. Definitely make a difference to your vaginal microbiome.
And views on things like FemFresh, shower gels, all sorts of things down there.
Why does your vagina have to smell of roses?
No, I know. I'm asking because...
No.
Okay,
like,
no, because...
No, it disrupts the microbiome. It's just wash with some, I don't know, an olive soap or something natural.
Yeah. No, because we made these 2 lubes, and our big thing was it not disrupting the microbiome, because everything has to be pH neutral.
Yes.
Because obviously that's when things like thrush or UTIs, and there's so many different things. But lube, I don't think people appreciate. There was a study not too long ago saying that actually lube was not helping people get pregnant. I don't know if we might have to Google it, because apparently it stops the swimmers. I don't know if that's a specific type of lube.
It might be this specific type of lube as well.
Because we've had emails from people saying they've got pregnant since using our lube.
So, and also because the stress as well of having sex, you're going to dry up more, aren't you? You're not going to relax as well.
Yeah.
And it's great for perimenopause or menopausal women that may be drier down there. It could really free them up.
No, because that's what our biggest sort of buyers are when we go through menopause. Because we do a CBD one, which helps. We actually looked at doing a CBD. You can get CBD tampons, but because it can relax the muscles down there.
There's also is it the M-Cellar chair you can sit on, and it contracts in there to make it tighter.
Oh, your pelvic floor.
Yeah, and then there's also like this, there's one. It looks like a long dildo, and you stick it up and it contracts.
Oh yeah, because there's also we were actually it might be a future product. Was looking at one with UV LED light, not UV light, but something just
might be good like to have one at home or something that you could do.
I know, obviously, women's eggs once they're classed as geriatric. What about the male sperm?
Well, it depends on the quality. Again, if they older superstars have the money, they can go in and get out the best. You only need one.
Yeah. What's your sort of like? So say someone like me, if I go get tested, am I better off almost not getting out the way and having a baby, but to have a healthy, obviously depending on my circumstances or whatever and what I'm putting into my body, if I have healthy eggs right now and my chances are slowly dropping, am I better off just biting the bullet and having a baby?
No, you could freeze your eggs. It's an individual thing, isn't it? It depends on if you want to do it on your own. I have quite a lot of ladies doing it on their own now. They're just like, I'm running out of time. I want to find. I don't even have time to find the partner. I have like 6 women in finance at the moment. They're just like, I'm just doing it on my own.
Really?
Yeah.
God, it's quite a brave thing to do, isn't it?
So I have one client, she's had 2. She was one of my first clients and she's had 2 in 6 years on her own. And she runs an amazing business. See,
women can really do it all, let me just tell you.
I'm not advocating, I'm not saying that must be do, but I think
there's something quite refreshing about that.
It's a choice you can make. And as someone that, has been a single mum, you're very careful then of who you choose. You're not expecting them to change. You're not saying, I can change this guy, or when we have kids, he won't do this or that. Yeah. If you already have a child, whoever you invite into your life, you're going to take less crap. And you'll be like, no, he's not for me.
Yeah. No, I think it's, because I think there's, because I'm at that age now where it's very everyone marriage, kids, like it's just relentless. But it's very sort of like, I think it's quite amazing that women are more than happy and capable to do it just by themselves.
Yeah, and I think that is an option, and I write about that in the book and as well, and same-sex couples as well. We've got to understand it's a different kind of world, and our family, of what we used to see is very different now, and it doesn't matter as long as that child is loved and provided for, and that's it. And I get a lot of stick on Instagram. I even went off TikTok because of the amount of stick I got as being an older mum. So I was a young mum at the school gates, and now I'm the oldest mum at the school gates. And people have said, oh, what she hasn't said is that her baby has Down syndrome, or her child has defects, or she's selfish.
Wait, sorry, what?
Yeah.
People are saying...
Yeah. She's selfish, disgusting, you're going to be dead by the time your child is like 30, all of those things.
Sorry, I'm looking at my fridge. I'm so speechless by this. I find it honestly bizarre that people, when you're out there trying to help people, and they have the absolute fucking cheek to say that.
Yeah, it got so bad. I was on another podcast. They stopped comments on it. They said, we'll just have
if
to stop
anyone
comments.
fucking thinks that they are going to comment something nasty on this podcast, I'm going to fucking report you. So fuck off. No, I do. I think it's a real cheek, actually.
Because it has, in the work that I've done with my clients, it's made such a difference. Even some people have worked with me and I've gone through all this, and we've decided we actually don't want to have children. Really? We just feel that society's given us pressure that we have to.
But this is
that's brilliant.
Yeah, but I think I sometimes worry that I think a lot of people, purely because of the way society is, are having kids when actually I don't really know necessarily if they firstly know what's coming once they've had the child, or really actually that's how they want their life to go. But which is, I think it's sort of sad. And to be honest, the reason I had an abortion, I was far too young. I certainly wasn't ready. I know for a fact I would never have given that child the life it would have deserved. And I just wasn't there yet. But this is why this whole not being able to have an abortion in America, what's your view on that?
I think it's absolutely disgusting.
I think it's terrible.
Outrageous. I've been through with friends that have had it, and I know it wasn't right for them. Friends that have... back in the day when I was younger, one of my friends was pregnant to a black man, and her family would have disowned her.
It's awful.
You know, and so what was she going to be? You know, a teenager with no job,
No
no
family.
family support. What would that been like for the child? What happens if you've had of incest, rape, all of those things, or you've got pregnant by accident, you're on antibiotics and took the contraceptive pill, or you're on another drug. You know, I've had friends that have been on certain medications, and then they've taken, the doctor hasn't told them
That cancels it out.
that it cancels it out, and they've got pregnant by accident, and they weren't ready to have a child. So it wasn't as if they were just out having a good time and just didn't think.
Yeah.
Or your condom splits, or, you know, all of those things.
Yeah. It's like really crazy.
And also, why should the woman have to go? It's a traumatic thing for many women, and it doesn't always end well. You know, you can have complications with an abortion, all of those things, and it's the woman's body.
And then you're made to feel like shit about it.
And then you're made to feel like shit about it.
I had, when I spoke about it, I had a guy comment underneath saying how fucking wrong it was. And I said, do you have any idea how many men encourage women to go and get abortions? But they would never dream of saying that.
Yeah. And also, how many men that don't even bother telling their family because they're ashamed of it, but the woman is meant to then, it's all on her. I think it's absolutely terrible.
No, it's terrible.
And also, it's just going to force people into, you're going to be having children that it's going to be put up for adoption.
But also going to dodgy clinics.
You're going to
where
have
people are
people
going to
have
then
gone to
become
dodgy-
infertile.
Yeah, who are then going to become infertile because of that. All of those things are going to happen. People are going to die because of it.
Yeah. No,
People
it's
are maybe even going to
terrifying.
take their own lives because of it. I think it's really, really dangerous.
No, it's something needs to change, and I'm fucking glad that we're here. Liberty has written a book, 360 Fertility. Where can one find this?
Amazon, you can go to my website, which is Integrative Liberty, and you can get a signed copy. You know, I even wrote it because I thought if someone has a friend that's going through an infertility journey, or a son or a daughter, and you don't know what to say to them, you can get them that book.
Amazing.
Bit of an icebreaker.
This has been amazing, by the way, and I think you're a phenomenal person. You look incredible, and thank you so much.
Thank you.